Good morning and welcome to the Weekend Funcast. Adam Shelfin, Russ Thomas.
How you doing, sir?
Russellmania. I'm doing well. I'm just trying to get that to catch on.
No, I know you are, and it's it's spread a little bit here within the newsroom. I've had a couple other people say it. They seem to like it.
Okay, good.
I'm certainly okay with it because it makes me sound like maybe I'm a little tougher than I am. You know, Russellmania. People say, hey, wrestling, whatever. That's a tough guy. I don't want to mess with him.
well, you'd only have to put on about another 100 pounds. You'd look a lot like Brian Urlacher.
Thank you.
Probably grow a little taller too. But you guys are both bald.
Yeah.
And both very imposing.
That's what I was going to say. I may have to hit the gym for about 3 years to be Brian Urlacher. But you know what? I feel like, and it's a great reference. I want to say because I wanted to say this. This past Sunday, Adam was nice enough to invite me and my wife over to his place, and had a chance to spend some time with your special lady friend. And I noticed this is great because obviously, big Bears fan, right?
Huge.
Had the jersey,
Huge,
had everything. He just obviously just like I expected. But your gal had on Chicago Bears stuff, and she's from North Dakota.
I've converted her.
You have converted her.
Yeah,
I thought to myself, and I really was thinking this out afterwards. I was like, so you converted as someone who maybe was just apathetic toward the Bears or any team, and not liked or disliked. It was just like, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes we throw the football around.
Nice.
You just go to the park or whatever, and she likes to punt it.
Okay.
And so she was wearing the.
So she is a true Bears fan.
yeah. Well, special teams player of the week, right? Tori Taylor, and that's the player tee that I got her for her birthday because she likes to punt it. The crocodile punter.
Okay.
Is his nickname. Have you heard about that yet?
No.
He's actually
That's
unbelievable. Go check out, and if you're into this kind of thing, check out his Iowa Hawkeyes highlights. He was like the best college punter in decades, literally. And so they took him in the 4th round, and the guy is unbelievable. And his sound bites are great because he sounds like you don't always pin him down within the 10-yard line on a 65-yarder, but I guess
really
that was
good.
Pretty good. It's like, it was good. Crocodile punter, it was.
What's funny is, too, he wound up at the perfect school, Iowa. That's all they do is punt. So, a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
But I was going to say what was neat about it is, with my wife, I'm trying to kind of, because we're newly married, and we've known each other for maybe a shorter time, so you kind of, you converted, and you've got something you can say to your gal, you can say, hey, look, we had the 86 Bears. What was it, 86?
Yeah, 85 Bears.
86
86 was the actual, because the postseason's obviously 1986.
Yes.
But yeah, it was the 85-86 team.
So you can sit there and say, we had this. We had Walter Payton. We had Frazier Perry. Did you guys have Willie Gault at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had Willie Gault. You had all these amazing, and there was Singletary. I mean, there were guys all over the place.
Richard Dent, Dan Hampton, Mongo McMichael. Yeah, we know the lore.
Yeah. So with that in mind, and trying to convert my wife to a Falcons fan is more difficult. I don't have that. Like my big thing is, we were up 28-3.
We had a lead.
And then she says, "What happened?" I'm like, "What do you want to do for dinner?" So that's kind of so it's a little bit of a harder pull. But the Falcons, and we'll get into this just a minute. But the Falcons did a big win last night.
Yeah, big win, and we'll get into our picks. Falcons are looking good.
Yeah.
Bears are. I don't know. We'll see. But let's start right back here. Friday Night Lights. Look at this, and it's a beautiful night for football. I was warning my special lady friend, hey, there's going to be a little bit of frost on the ground this morning. But I also said, hey, you can keep that jacket in your car because it's going to warm up a good 30 or so degrees.
Yeah. You can stuff your jacket in a sack, mister. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that. It was chilly this morning, as we all know. We talked about, that potential for frost, all that. It was cold. But you're right. Nice warm up. And as we head into the weekend, it's going to be, in fact, tomorrow morning is the lows, and we'll get to there in just a minute, but are going to be some about 20 degrees warmer than what we saw. This will actually be a mild morning tomorrow. So, but let's get to it. And I know a lot of what we've done recently, of course, with the Funcast, talked about football, but this is the time of year. We won't just make it exclusively football related, but we are going to start here because the weather's great. Friday night, of course. By the way, Moorhead big homecoming tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, big game for them. So with that
The
in mind,
Studley
we'll get this going.
Spudleys.
That's where it leads right here.
Okay.
So these are
Oh, this is
temperatures.
perfect.
This is perfect football weather, right? I know it's been a little warm during the last game. There's nothing wrong with that the last couple of Friday nights, but this is more kind of that more feel of like, true football weather. If it was about 10 degrees cooler, that would almost be perfect for your Friday night.
Yeah.
But this is great.
Sabres at Spuds.
Yes,
Love
exactly.
that.
Yes, 64 here this evening from Moorhead. And you can see, you get down to Detroit Lakes, we're finding temperatures a little close to that 6-degree mark.
Okay.
Horace 64, Fargo 65. That is your kickoff temperature. Temperatures are slowly drop, but the thing is, again, is because we're going to get an increasing south wind, we're not going to see a big drop from 7 o'clock to say 9 or 9:30. We're going to be close to the same temperature, maybe a couple degrees cooler at the end of the game. So, yeah, great night to go out and watch some football. And even if you don't, if it's not in your typical schedule, if you're not a big high school football, you don't have any kids, grandkids, nephews, uncles playing high school football. I know it's a little weird, huh? What you can do is just go out and enjoy it. It's a great night.
Absolutely. And, I'm going to actually circle this game right here. Wapaton at Horace. Wapaton, red hot. Yep. Horace, a program that's been on the rise the last few years and just super dangerous, a very new high school. And so they've just had a lot of very young players kind of filter through the athletics program, but they're starting to turn into... They're going to be a problem for years to come. They're just doing a great job building not just the football program, but the basketball programs as well. Yeah. Speech teams like the best in the state.
Did not know that.
So,
but I do know every time I've been down there, they speak really well.
They're very good at speaking.
Yeah,
better than us.
Oh,
perhaps.
I'm from Georgia. Yeah, of course.
But no, all jokes aside,
a house plant speaks better than me. I'm from Georgia. But
should be a great game.
Yeah, should be a great game
yeah.
for sure. So great weather tonight. I want to move on because one of the things we're going to talk about here, how windy it's going to be this weekend, in particular on Saturday. Now check this out. Today we're going to see some areas. Now this is mainly westernmost areas. We're going to see winds. I was about to say temperatures. Winds sustained 15 to 25, gusting to 40. You'll notice the winds in the valley locations, but it's not going to be this type of number. And I want to point that out because just letting you know, again, if you're James River Valley, you're Devils Lake Base, and you're in Carrington, you are in Cooperstown, these areas that typically see some of the higher winds, you're going to see those stronger winds today. Now we jump into Saturday. You see this number?
That's WrestleMania.
That is right, exactly.
The wind will be rustling and the leaves will be rustling.
You got it, absolutely. West wind sustained 20 to 35, and again, I do want to point out here as we look at the wind gust. The highest gust, as is typically the case, is going to be western. We're talking 60. It's that damaging wind scenario, though, the type you want to bring the things in that you're not tied down. And again, this is mainly James River Valley, Devils Lake with the highest winds. But valley locations, even as we get toward Lakes Country, northwest Minnesota as well, those winds are still going to be gusting in excess of 40 miles per hour in many spots, potentially 45. So again, highest winds to the west, but windy everywhere tomorrow. Winds out of the south is going to help drive up our temperatures. We'll get to that in a second. Then on Sunday, we're still windy. And in this case, those winds, which could gust as high as 45 out of the northwest, they're going to come more from, they're going to actually be, covering areas that are more valley and areas east. West won't be as windy on Sunday. So I want to point that out. And then what I want to do from there is get to, let's see, did I mash the button? All right.
Oh, look at this. Ooh, who made this one?
Big game this week. And what's that?
Who made this graphic? This is incredible. You even got the Fargodome in the background here.
Absolutely. So this is, look, if you look, you can see that's, yeah.
There's the
there
F.
it is right there.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
also
incredible.
blind. In addition to deaf and don't speak well, I'm also
oh
blind.
my goodness.
But I see
and
it.
the colors, this is just, whoever, is this a Schnellback special?
It's either Schnellback or Lisa.
Okay.
Because they're better at these type of graphics than me. I'm a numbers guy.
Well, whoever did it, this is seriously one of the best ones I've seen yet.
Yes. Now you take a look here, and this is interesting. So we go to tomorrow. We talked about how windy it's going to be for the big game. Now, obviously, game indoors in the dome, no impact there. But you're tailgating tomorrow. Just like I was saying for strapping down some of the items outdoors, you want to make sure that hot dog is going to fly away.
Yeah.
The burger, gone. So, a six-pack, of whatever beverage you'd prefer. You want to even strap down. It is going to be windy, wind gust. Now, we got the 50 here, and you're saying, hey, Russ, wait a minute. You said 60 on Saturday just a minute ago. Again, just a reminder, that's for those western areas. In the valley, could see gusts up to 50, though. Very strong. Again, great. Gets 2:30 kickoff tomorrow. I'm excited. I won't actually be in town. I wish I was going to, but I'm excited about checking the scores, seeing what happens. I don't want to give, obviously, a prediction because I don't know what's going to happen. They're both great teams. I will tell you, last week I did tell you North Dakota was absolutely, definitely 100% going to beat the Racers of Murray State. And you kind of made me back down a little bit. You're like, Russ, you can't guarantee it. And while you're right, I want to point out I was right.
Yeah, you did guarantee it. You called the shot. I'm staying away from a prediction on this one.
Yeah.
Just an incredible rivalry. And last year, UND pulling off what was a huge upset up in Grand Forks, taking a lot of confidence in. Number 2 team in the nation against the number 7 team in the nation, just high-powered. This should be on, if I call the shots if I were king of the world, this one's going on national, prime time. This is the, Ohio State against USC. This is the biggest football game in college football, in my humble opinion, of the weekend.
And I didn't think about this, but you probably, why is ESPN Game Day not at this one? Have you seen the other college football slate this weekend?
Come
you know
on.
where they're going?
No.
They're going to Cal for the Miami at Cal game. What? Where's Cal ranked? That's right, they're not. This is where it's all at right here, number 7 versus number 2.
Yeah.
One thing I like, I'll say this real quick, I spent 20 years in Missoula, Montana forecasting right there. The big game every year was obviously the Grizz Bobcats, Montana State. And that was always, because the teams are typically more evenly distributed in terms of wins over the years, like I think Montana has the edge. But this has been, for a large portion of time, more of a one-sided thing. But then look what happened last year. North Dakota's a very good team, and it's like, this game, you don't know what's going to happen. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. North Dakota always plays their best game against NDSU too, so I cannot wait to watch that one.
Absolutely. So again, talking about, and we're just going to weekend forecast because not everyone's all football. So you're going to get out this weekend in general, and we've already talked about this, right? The wind, that's a big thing. Sunshine, that's the other big thing. Going to be nice out there. 75 on Saturday. Winds more out of the let's just say southwest. We got south here. It's going to start south, turn west, but again, excess of 45 plus, but a nice high temperature. If you like those warmer numbers, what happens on Sunday? Still very windy, not quite as. But our wind is out of the northwest, so it's going to be cooler. We're still going to get that sunshine. Great weekend, just like I said. Just make sure you know that it is going to be windy out there.
Yeah, and if you're tailgating, way down that tent.
Right.
Because that will go blowing, all jokes aside, it's not just hot dogs and hamburgers that could be flying, a plate of food. If you're getting that kind of gust, you really got to weigh down those tents because that could cause a huge problem in the tailgating lot.
No, absolutely, you're right. Now, I was kind of joking a little bit of hot dog and hamburger, but then I think about it, and I'm like, which would I rather have, my food or my tent? I'd rather have the food.
Yeah.
So, tent blows away as long as my hot dog's still there. No, I'm kidding. No, you're absolutely right. In all seriousness, so just be aware of that and keep those things down. However you have them, sandbag them, tie them down, whatever you can possibly do. As we get to, so again, the weekend's great. Whatever plans. We've got Minnesota foliage. We don't really have or as Bobby Fallett called it yesterday, foliage.
Oh.
And I wanted to point that out. Hopefully he's not watching. As we look at the colors here, really starting to see northwest Minnesota, lakes country. 50 to 75%, the colors, I should say, looking very good. Don't get the report for North Dakota, but you can see, it's certainly Fargo Valley locations where you do have a lot of that greenery out there. We're starting to see in the trees some of that change. I'm starting to see some of the yellows, some of the oranges. So if you're not football, but you're just like, hey, I just want to take a drive and look at some leaves, we're getting close to peak. We're not at peak, but we're getting close to peak. Next couple of weeks is when we're going to peak out, but this would be a great weekend with sunshine to do that.
I was going to say it would be a great weekend for riding your bike, checking out the fall colors. Maybe a little windy for that. That's at your discretion, I suppose. It's not too windy to ride your bike. What do you think about that? It is windy, though.
I was going to say,
if you're riding your bike, maybe better on like a path
Yeah.
Definitely not great when you're competing with traffic.
Right, and no, you're right about that. And I think the big thing is if you're obviously an experienced bike rider, you're probably in good shape because you know. I'm not as experienced. I'm sure I would fall down.
You still have the training wheels.
I do, yes,
Yeah.
I do. 47 years and counting, by the way. Don't want to brag. I didn't start right away. I'm starting at 6 years old because I didn't even want to ride with training wheels until I was a little bit older. I was a scared kid with a lot of things, which leads me to being a scared adult. I don't know. That may be the last graphic I have. In fact,
Well, then let's get into the picks here. We both got off to a good start. The Atlanta Falcons, they were my pick to win the NFC South. Still feeling good about that prediction. We both took them to take down Tampa Bay.
We did. I would say real quick, being a Falcons guy, it was a great game. I was very excited last night. Tampa really, I don't know if you watched that game, should not have lost. I mean, they had the ball, they had everything, and then but they let the Falcons back in, and the Falcons took it from them, and I'm excited about that. And I have my string of getting Thursday night right every week, which means I'll continue my string of being horrible on Sunday, I'm sure.
Well, we will see. I do want to shout out a few guys, though. Justin Betty in the driver's seat overall so far this year with most accurate picker, but last week's champion, Ethan Kramer. So he took week 4, we're on to week 5, and this was a great Thursday night game because it was hard to pick. A lot of people picked the Buccaneers. We're in about half the group that went with the Falcons.
That makes me happy. I'm one up on people who are a lot better than me normally.
Well, who knows? Every blind dog finds a squirrel.
We'll see.
Wait, that's not how it goes.
I don't know, but I'm pretty blind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got the Minnesota Vikings in England, in foggy London town. Yes, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, New York Jets. And this is a fun one because you got Aaron Rodgers taking on the Vikings. Vikings fans do not like Aaron Rodgers.
Right. I've got Minnesota.
I got Minnesota too.
I made that guarantee after the first 2 weeks when I said Minnesota's going to lose. I'm like, I'm not picking against them again until they prove to me they can lose. They have not done that yet.
Sam Darnold looks like an MVP, and the Vikings have the best defense in the NFL. I'm just going to keep saying it every week.
Right. Player of the month, Sam Darnold.
Amazing.
Yeah, great USC. Forgot to play football for, I'm kidding. No, struggled the first, 4 years?
He's finally in a good position. He's got great coaching. He's got all-star team around him. Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison's healthy again. Hawkinson resumed practice. That's a juggernaut of an offense. And the defense is unbelievable with Coach Flo.
Absolutely. So just checking something here. Okay.
Moving right along here.
I got the new newscast.
We'll make them a 2-minute drill here. Chicago Bears. I got them beating the Panthers. That's in Soldier Field.
It's in Soldier Field. I like it. And again, I just love the way Chicago's defense is playing. As we talk about Minnesota's defense, Chicago's defense is playing great. Special teams is good. I think the offense kind of start finding them. Swift had a great game last week. They're starting to find themselves. I also have Chicago.
The Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Baltimore Ravens.
Until Cincinnati can show me something, which they haven't so far, I'm going against them, Baltimore.
I think Ravens could legitimately win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm that high on them this year. Derrick Henry is a problem. Miami Dolphins visiting the New England Patriots. Battle of the bad. You got a pretty bad Patriots team against a yeesh.
Yeah.
If Tua is healthy, it's a different Dolphins team. They were so fun to watch last year. Not so fun to watch this year unless you're one of those people who likes watching paint dry and stuff like that.
You know who's never fun to watch? New England.
yeah.
But I actually have, and I think you and I had different picks here. I have New England winning only based on the fact that it's a home game, and I think the crowd can I think it's going to be a bad game either way.
I took Miami. Don't feel good about it. I feel like New England's probably going to win. The Washington Commanders. I actually took them to beat the Browns. I don't know if that's an upset, but I don't think the Browns are that good this year.
I like the way Daniels. I just call people by different names. I think the way he's playing at QB for Washington is good. I don't think Cleveland is. Much like you, I took the Commanders.
The Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Jaguars looking for their first win.
I think they're going to get it.
I think they're going to get it.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium taking on the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew, that is a good-looking dude. He's got that crazy mustache. He's got the cool hair. He's got the headband. Right. Too bad style points don't get you points in football, and that's why the Broncos are going to win.
No, I think that's a good call. I do want to put first. I think you're right. I got Denver 2. Second of all, you skipped over a pretty good one.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, let's backtrack on that. Houston. I actually got Houston beating Buffalo.
This is a tough one because Buffalo looked like trash last week, if you recall. There was
against the Ravens. Yeah.
And up until that point, they were really motoring on offense. Houston's so good. This was the toughest one I had to pick. I actually took Buffalo only based on the fact they were so bad last week, and they're such a good team. I think they're going to make a recovery.
I believe it. All right, now we'll go back down a few more 4 o'clock games to get to. The San Francisco 49ers are hosting the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals aren't that good. 49ers, super good.
Yeah.
Easy pick for me.
Yeah, I like the way Jordan Mason, by the way, Georgia Tech, former Georgia Tech star.
And on your fantasy team.
And on fantasy, the way he's running the ball right now is great. Debo's back, so I think they seem to be getting squared away, San Francisco.
The Los Angeles Rams are hosting the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers are going to win by quite a few points.
Okay, this is the other game. I mentioned Houston, Buffalo. This is the other game I had a really hard time with. I'm actually, despite what I think is probably your common sense, I'm taking the Rams at home.
Uncommon sense.
There you go.
There you go. That's
that was Thomas Paine's alter ego. Yeah.
The Seattle Seahawks hosting the New York Giants. This is one of those games that makes me think of Norse mythology story, but it would be much longer. There's a story, Loki turns into a hawk.
Right.
He's messing with some giants. But anyway, the football game, I think Seattle's the better football team.
That's funny because I didn't know if you were going to bring that up. I was actually going to talk about that, but you did. So I'm just going to go with Seattle.
Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's an interesting one about that is Cowboys, they have a lot of steel. They have like a steel belt buckle. They typically have some sort of steel weapon. They got, the spurs.
Yeah.
But who makes the steel? The Steelers.
Right. So you got the Steelers.
So I got the Steelers.
I always get excited about this matchup. So very quick story, 30 seconds. My stepdad's from Pittsburgh. Growing up while I lived in Atlanta, the first team I really liked before, it was like 6, 7 years, was actually the Steelers because that was a time, 77, 78, 79 when the Steelers were really rolling.
Steel curtain.
And they were playing, exactly, and they were oftentimes playing the other best team, the Dallas Cowboys. So that rivalry to me, even though it's not as much so at this point, always plays big in my mind. I'm a Steelers guy. After the Falcons, that's the second favorite team, so I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Yeah, and Steelers are playing good football. So we'll see how they go. And Dallas, I think they're better than their record.
Yes.
That's a tough game to pick. They're better
than their record, but they've also gotten blown out a couple times.
Yes.
So it's like, are they better than
their
record?
Are they going to get it together? We'll
Yes.
see. This is good. That's a game I'm looking forward to. That's Sunday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints, Monday Night Football, visiting Arrowhead Stadium. Tough place to play, tough team to beat. New Orleans looked so magical the first 2 weeks, and now they look very... Chiefs are always good.
Chiefs are always good. And sometimes it's funny, as I noticed this last season, even the season before, Chiefs find a way to win sometimes during the regular season, then they actually really find a way to win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Meaning that a lot of times they'll play during the regular season, maybe not as good as you think in some games, but yet they still come out. Look at last week, 17 over the Chargers.
Yeah.
Like you, I've got Kansas City. I don't know that it's going to be a pretty game. I think they're going to find a way to win, though.
I like that analysis.
Yeah.
Well, that is the weekend Funcast. We got the noon show coming up.
We do.
And safe travels to you. Heading to Montana this weekend, I
Head
believe.
to Montana, see the grandkids for the first time in a long time. My kids will be there too, but I'm going to go see the grandkids, and I couldn't be more excited about that.
Amazing. Well, we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Weekend Funcast on Valley News Now.